Can a complete beginner fix a rusty project car? I spent £400 on this Mark II MX-5 to find out. Well, there's one major flaw with this idea. I've got quite literally zero experience fixing cars or even really using power tools. That was structural car. Don't know exactly how bad the rust is going to be. I mean, it's game over if we can't get this off. So today we're going to be trying to fix some major structural rust and get this thing ready for paint. So let's find out, is this one big massive financial mistake, or can a complete beginner fix a rusty project car? Let's go. Step one then is going to be getting this wheel off so we can get access to the rust. Bit of a moment of truth this, because I haven't had this wheel off yet, so I don't know exactly how bad the rust is going to be. Oh, let's have a look. Okay, first inspection looks about the same as the other side. A couple of holes in the rear end plate here. I'm worried about is all of this. That was structural car. Now look at it.
Before we deal with any of that, we got to cut off the rear inner arch.
The aim of the arch here is to cut off as little as possible. You know, you don't have to get too far back to get to solid metal, and it's going to be easy to attach this outer skin back to a piece that's not all the way under here. Let's go.
Once you've cut the inner arch off, I'd strongly advise using a grinding wheel just to take off the sharp edges. Top of your head will thank you.
So already things are looking much cleaner. Don't need to come down as far as this bit down here because that is the rear end plate.
Which is exactly what we'll be removing next.
Now what we're going to do is play an intimate game of find the spot welds. Easiest way I've found is you can either visually see them, or you can kind of feel along the metal and you'll feel these, they kind of feel like divots on one side, tiny humps on the other. And there's two ways you can do it. You can either drill them out or grind through the metal, which doesn't put a hole in the plate of the metal that you're keeping. I'm going to drill them out just because it's what I know. So let's play a little game of whack-a-mole.
So the first thing I'm doing here is using my grinding wheel to remove a load of the rubbish. That can make it much easier to see those spot welds.
Okay, that grinding has got rid of some of the crap along this edge, so I'm going to have a go at finding some of them. Next we're going to drill the other side then, and this is kind of easier because that's a black mess in there, right? But from this side, we can drill the spot welds from here.
It became immediately obvious upon drilling the second spot weld out that this was a triple layer spot weld, so it's 3 pieces of metal layered together. I quickly realised that drilling it from the outside might not be as easy as I thought, so I stripped off the inside to get a better look.
If you do use a grinder to get rid of all the crap on the outside, this is what your rivet looks like. It's a hole, like a divot, so because remember this panel's for the bin anyway because of all these holes, so don't worry about doing damage to it.
And so began a lot of drilling. At one point I genuinely didn't think we'd get this through. I also attacked it with the grinder before going back to the drill, and you'll see we did eventually pop through it.
Success!
The next couple of spot welds were thankfully much easier.
So we are very nearly there. Got these drilled out along this edge. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then the one in here was an absolute mare. That's where the Y is. So somewhere up and left is the last one. And then we just need to cut across the top and pry this part off. There it is. After much hammering and chiseling and power drilling, I think we might be about to get the big reveal. So a complete beginner can remove the rusty rear end plate of a Mazda MX-5. Great news, and look how bad this thing is. It is mega rusty, absolutely knackered. No structural strength left in that bottom bit at all, completely rotten through. Next steps then, let's have a look at quite how much rust this rust was hiding.
Say it louder, say it louder. You're the question, you're the answer.
So not what we might have hoped, but the plan of attack is to get that rear inner sill plate off first. So we'll go straight along, cut down, right along again, as far as we can go.
Back to life. Bring the energy one more time. If you feel like letting go, you can take control.
With the thick metal cut through, you'll see how soft that panel's become.
Actually got through that in relatively quick order there. So this is what the end plate looks like. And you'll see it's rock solid here. Flimsy by the end, just eating away. That's what these cars do, that's why they're cheap. Let's have a look at what's next now that we've cut the top off.
What we've got to do next is to find the spot welds that attach this inner sill plate to the bottom of the car, amongst all that rust and debris.
So the spot welds are on the drops. So this, you see this here. This is a bit of the old sail right, because that's spot welded in, spot welded in, spot welded in, spot welded in, so you can just follow these humps.
And so began a lot of drilling and cutting.
I've been chipping away at just getting the remnants of that sail off, and I've made a discovery. That is not OEM. This has had a previous repair on the jacking point, I suspect. Looks like a nice thick bit of steel. It's quite neat, and that would be absolutely fine, except they haven't bothered to repair the underlying structure. So if you look in the hole, it's just rusted out. I'm sure that steel plate would hold more than enough weight to jack the Mazda up. But if the car around it completely crumples because it's rotted through, it's not much good, is it?
My plan then was to cut a nice straight edge along here and then remove the rotted out corner.
Okay, this is a significant moment because we're about to become pretty much rust free on this part of the car. And that is most of the rust removed. Big moment. And this box section shows you exactly what the problem is with these cars. Look, from the outside, you can grind down to shiny metal. The inside, rotten. They rot from the inside out. Next steps then, we're going to get the grinding wheel out, grind off as much of the surface rust as we can, and then we're going to hit it with Deox gel, which is a built hamper product I've used before. There's a link for some around here. You can watch that video if you'd like to. And that should get us down to clean-ish metal. Let's go.
So here I'm applying the Deox gel to the car. I've made a video on this before, and over 4,500 people have watched it, which is just mind-blowing to me. Despite that, over 100% of my watch time comes from non-subscribers. So if you're enjoying this video and you want to see more of the Mazda, you know where that subscribe button is. Give it a click.
Now that the car is rust free then, it's new parts time. I got these from MX-5 Restorer, shout out to them. They literally do this all the time. They've got a YouTube channel themselves. Lights up, lights down. And here's the parts we've ordered then. Inner rear box section, new rear sill, and they basically slot together like this under the car. So in this orientation, and our end plate goes here. So what that does is let us see what new metal we have. This structural sill is absolutely massive. Goes halfway down the driver's door. Not too worried about that. But the inner piece is the problem. Actually welding this on becomes really difficult because you're right under the car. I've got the car already on some pretty sketchy stilts. I don't know how much higher I could get it without a ramp. Don't have a ramp. So let me have some more thinking to see what I'm gonna do. That's my thinking done, and I've got a plan and a renewed motivation to get this car finished so I can fly through the twisty turns of Yorkshire in it. What I'm going to do is cut the car as flat as possible here, and that'll slot in nicely there. The structural sill, I'm going to tuck in behind. I'm going to tuck that in behind here, and the reason I'm going to tuck it in is because the quarter panel, when it goes on, it comes over the top of that and marries up to this plate. So if I have that on the outside, any extra bulk here is going to cause that to stick out, not flush. I mean, let's be honest, I've never done this in my Puff. The odds of it being flush are slim, but I think we should at least try for a flush. Look at that in the background. Oh, these cars are so good, honestly. If you don't have one, it's so much fun. It's like a little go-kart, weighs nothing. Off camera, I've cut the panels down to size, prepped the car, get a nice metal to metal finish where possible. And honestly, now we've got all that's left to do now is just to give it a crack. Not a very good welder, but we'll see how far we get today. Let's go.
So a welder I am not, but let me talk you through how I approached it. I started with the inner rear sill because it was the part I was most confident would be straight, and then did the box section underneath the car because it's really difficult to get to, and then I did the rear end plate just because that was the last piece to do that was structural. And you'll see here, it is definitely not pretty. I've got spot welds, I've got plug welds. I'm just trying to lay down as much quality metal as I can, basically, to try and make sure this is structurally strong. And I think by the end, I did a bit more welding after this. I was confident that it is as good as it needs to be.
Alright, as you can see, I've got the structural stuff done. I've ground off the paint to give a nice metal on metal finish for the outer skin to go on. This is the bit that everyone's going to see. There's nothing else to do but just to go for it. The first thing I'm going to do is try and get it on as best I can and just tack it in the four corners and hopefully get a good fit so I don't have to grind it back off again.
So here we go, tacking it on, and you'll see I'm just going to work it around the metal, spreading the welds to try and stop too much heat build up in any one area and hopefully stop it warping. And then lastly I'm just doing the final step, which is grinding off the excess and hoping that we get a nice finish.
Right, after many hours of welding, many burns, I think I have the answer to can a complete beginner fix a rusty project car, and I think it's yes. Let me show you what's behind the camera right now.
An MX-5, rust free on at least this quarter. I'm really pleased with how this turned out. I think the welding for the most part looks good. There's a little gap here at the top, just behind the driver's door, which could be better. I'll try and lay some more metal in that gap, and we can always use filler at the end of the day. But as you get towards the back of the panel, it's so much cleaner, but still needs a bit more grained in, filler, epoxy. Coming underneath the car, alright, it looks a little bit messy, but there's plenty of solid weld in there, and I think it's good to go.
If you're still here, thanks so much for watching the video. If you could subscribe, you'll see what's happening next, which I think is going to be putting this car back together and trying for an MOT, which it won't have had in 3 years. Feeling really accomplished. Absolutely mega to have the car, at least on one side, back together. I mean, it looks like a bloody car. Join me in the next one. Peace out.